So let's talk about the final games in round 4 of the Rugby World Cup. South Africa versus Tonga and Australia versus Portugal, both of which I thoroughly enjoyed and we're going to get into. And then I'm going to look forward to round 5 and kind of wrap up where we are with round 4, how that sets us up for the final round of the Rugby World Cup. So South Africa versus Tonga, 49-18. On the face of it, looks like an easy win for South Africa, but goodness me, Tonga made a great game of this all the way through. I mean, they're a really good team. It's just South Africa are a lot better. If Tonga were in Group C or D, they might have had some joy, so a shame that they go out in a way. But yeah, South Africa definitely outclassed them in the end, but they had to work for it. A lot of defending as well for South Africa. They weren't just attacking at all. And they rotated loads of players for this game. But South Africa, for me, do have the most talent in depth in the whole World Cup. I'm pretty sure that is the case. They got Andre Pollard returning. He got 50 minutes, which was really good for him. Dion Fourie, game time as hooker, now they're number 2 of course, and Van Staden got 20 minutes as hooker as well, and they both did well, so that's definitely some ticks for South Africa there already. Now the first try was from Cobus Reinach, the veteran scrum half, completely caught the Tongans napping there, electric quick tap and go, great try for him, 7-3 after 5 minutes, but actually the first 20-minute block of this game was really Tonga attacking and really big South African defence. South Africa hanging on, but hanging on very well indeed. Tonga definitely are trying to get their big captain Tamafuna onto the ball from set plays. They know he's one of the best players in the world, especially from short range, but South Africa do really well to ride this purple period for Tonga, and then they strike back straight away after they've broken that stranglehold for 20 minutes. It's Moody playing at 13 this time, flying along from a bit of a ping off Cock's shoulder, so pretty lucky, but goodness me, he's quick. 14-3, so that was kind of the breaking of back of Tonga there in the first 20 minutes, where actually Tonga could say they were on top, and they find themselves 14-3 down. Now Dion Fourie, his throwing in the lineup was excellent, and he was rewarded on 31 minutes with a maul try, 21-3. But like I said, even though South Africa are 3 tries up, it's a brilliant contest, and finally Tonga do manage to work their captain onto a short range pass from Appeal. He scores, so that's a good try there, 21-8, so well deserved try for Tonga, half time 21-8. It has to be said, in this first half, Andre Pollard's goal kicking was very straight, but when Libbok came on, his goal kicking was the best of the tournament as well, so great response from Libbok. I think he cemented his number 1 status there actually, but Pollard coming back to fitness is brilliant for them. Good backup. And we did see plenty of pictures of Rassie Erasmus staring through his binoculars at the game. This guy absolutely loves it. I do wonder if he's got something else prepared for the knockouts, maybe a small helium blimp to float him slowly across the pitch, and that's something World Rugby haven't ruled against yet. I don't know. Just brilliant stuff. Into the second half, and the first 10 minutes is all defending for Tonga. They do really, really well. I mean, they play really well in this game, but they just can't keep South Africa out forever. And Creel squirms over. He had a good game, 28-8, and that's important because it's the bonus point. That's what they needed to do in this game. We'll get on to what that means later in the video. But yeah, Pollard goes off after 50 minutes and he looked decent. Moody continuing to impress at 13. I wonder if he might even push for that spot over Creel in the starting team. I don't know, but he's definitely a great option there. Then the best try of the game so far goes to Tonga on 54 minutes. Like I said, they kept making this game a real contest. A really good starter play, of course, going to Tamafina, and then lots of variation in the attack, lots of short plays, lots of wide plays, and finally when the ball rewinds to the right, bad defensive error from Libbok and Leroux, who rush both infield towards Havili, so leave no one outside, and Anisi had a clear run in on the wing. So that was a bad blunder, but a great try as well, 28-13. So you're thinking, maybe Tonga can get back in this. And Tonga are playing really well, but they make one mistake, spill a carry, and Leroux finishes really well with a step. So that was a great transition try there. I mean, the choice between himself and Willemser at 15 is pretty close as well, so good game for Leroux. 35-13 and one of Libbok's amazing wide conversions. And then the South African best try of the game on 62 minutes, Quagga Smith with a great handoff and a break, lightning support line from Jesse Creel, some killer phases, and the new hooker in all senses, Van Staden, he piles over. So great try, 42-13. And then just when it looks like South Africa are taking control, the replacement 10 Pellegrini goes the length of the pitch for a wonder try, helpful bounce of the ball to be fair, 42-18. But the last try of the game does go to South Africa, literally putting up their jumpers, one pass out, bash, nice simple stuff. Quagga Smith are bashing over there. So good way to round off the game. Good preparation for South Africa for sure for the upcoming quarterfinals. Tonga acquit themselves well, but they find themselves out of the World Cup. Pop your comments on that game below. And then on to the very exciting Australia-Portugal game, 34-14. Australia get the win, the bonus point win. But is it that big send-off they wanted? No, I think it was pretty disappointing for them really. Portugal probably came off the best in this game. They play a very exciting game and it was really good to watch. In the first half, however, it was looking good for Australia with 3 straight tries, pressing for a bonus point before half-time, but then Portugal came back, scored one of their own and nearly a second stellar team try, but Kellaway, an awesome last-ditch cover tackle, stopped that one. So yeah, it's looking like a really good game. 24-7 though at half-time. You're thinking Australia are going to stretch away. So let's look at this second half in more detail. Portugal's handling is really good at times, but then they do tend to spill it a bit at the important point, but actually ball movement, getting it around the pitch is generally very good. The fly half Portela is a star in the making. The winger Storti is already a star of this World Cup. They are really exciting to watch. But it's actually Fraser McWright that secures the bonus point quite quickly on 48 minutes. But yeah, the Portugal team, they are the best team for that first 20 minutes, I think you'd say, in the second half. Australia scrabbling around in defence and starting to return to their old habits of giving away too many penalties. A yellow card indeed to Fessler as well for cynical dragging down of the maul. But Portugal, they muck up their handling at those crucial times. They could have scored there, absolutely. They had some big chances to score, with Australia having men off the pitch. But then Australia really start to come unglued. The sub Karevi, who was full of errors against Wales, he wants to make amends for that, but for some reason he goes for the forearm lead into a Portuguese head. So that's 9 minutes with 13 players, because that's a yellow card for Karevi as well. But that series of knock-ons is killing Portugal as they bang away at the Australian line. They do finally get over with the number 8 Simoes parrying over from a scrum, so 29-14, but they maybe should have got 2 tries in that period, because as soon as Australia are back, they score straight away with Corambetti, so 34-14, and that's how the game finished, 34-14. A really good second half there for Portugal, finishing the World Cup on a real high. They're definitely moving in the right direction. For Australia though, that wasn't the finish they wanted. Even though they got the win, there were some really bad decisions in there, really bad discipline, and when the heat came on, they looked a bit leaderless as well. I think I will come back to Australia in more detail in a separate video, but that's not really how they wanted to finish. So then finally, let's have a little wrap up of the pools as they stand now post round 4. How is it looking? Well, Pool A, the story here was Italy aren't going to upset New Zealand, not even close actually. Mathematically, something still could happen, with New Zealand maybe possibly leapfrogging France, and Italy still on 10 points, still could mathematically qualify. But on the evidence we've seen so far on the field, it's not going to happen. So it's going to be France first, New Zealand second. Pool B, well, the big story there of the last round is, of course, Ireland versus Scotland. That's going to be amazing, with all results still available for those top 3. So far, Ireland have been untouchable, but Scotland could sink all of that if they get a bonus point win and deny Ireland anything. But any sort of Scotland win really puts the cat amongst the pigeons. I did a previous video with lots of variations, and there's lots more permutations as well as that. But that's going to be probably the story, and the game to watch of round 5. And on to Pool C. Things kind of went to expectations in Pool C, but just about kind of, because Fiji got the win but not the bonus point win. They looked a little bit panicked against a very well organised Georgian team, so good display from Georgia. But if Fiji just pick up anything from that game against Portugal, they will qualify, but mathematically not safe yet. Talking of Portugal, excellent World Cup, very attractive, very positive, so it's hard not to root for them when you're a neutral. Australia, I mean, they were looking like they might stretch clear against Portugal like I mentioned, but they didn't. and Australia do need a miracle from that Portugal-Fiji game, otherwise they're going to go home, and I'm pretty sure they will go home. I think they've probably resigned themselves to that anyway, so after round 4 you have to conclude nothing has materially changed, so really it's going to be Wales in first, Fiji in second. And finally on to Pool D, and the story there is Japan's win over Samoa means that any one of Argentina, Samoa and Japan can qualify in second, but Samoa losing does mean that England do qualify as the pool winners, so great for England having not even played. But yeah, it's going to be fascinating in the final round to see who goes through in second place. I still fancy Argentina to beat Japan and qualify as the second place, but any of those three could definitely qualify, and they're pretty well matched as well. Anyway guys, please put comments below on anything that's happening in round 4 and what you think is going to happen next. I'd love to know what you think, and I'll catch you next time.